Hey everyone, as promised, we are diving into It's Different This Time, and we're going to talk about all the details and the things that June did and what we think of those things that she did and the information that Adam withheld from June. And do we think he did it with no malicious intent, or did he do it because he knew that if he told June, the outcome of the relationship would have been different? So, grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite drink. Let's have a little chat about It's Different This Time. Okay, so right off the bat, when I was reading this book, I was like, okay, they're friends, they're living together. Eventually, something's gonna happen, right? Because they're two attractive people, they get along great, they're in close proximity. That's usually how the story goes. But what happens is quite different. So June and Adam, of course, when they first move in, June creates a stipulation where they can't be together. No physical interaction or anything. And Adam, being the gentleman that he is, he takes that to heart. Like, he's like, okay, I'm not going to do anything that June doesn't pre-approve of. And they really just focus on their friendship, which I think shows a lot of self-control on his end and on her end. So that was great. But then as the years progress, they're kind of in this limbo, gray area where they both know that they're attracted to each other. They both know they have a lot in common. They both know that neither one of them has dated other people since they started living with each other. But since June made that stipulation, nor she nor Adam act on the feelings that they have. Should they have talked to each other about it? There's a scene where June is on the couch watching a movie. And then Adam comes home and sits on the couch with her. And then she tells him, "Oh, I missed you today." And he's like, "Oh, I missed you too." And then he hugs her, she hugs him, and they interlock fingers. A very intimate gesture between two so-called friends, right? And then she looks up at him, he looks down at her. In that moment, June can no longer control herself, right? So then they kiss, and things are getting a little heated. But then Adam looks at June very seriously and tells her, "What do you want?" And that was a very genuine question, I think, on his end, to really understand what it is June wants from him, because he knows she had set that stipulation when they first moved in together. And June answers in a way that I was not expecting, and it made me so angry on what she said, because Adam is such a great guy, and he's just like, he's a 10. He's a 10 with personality, with looks, with his job, his career. What does she tell him? I think it would be really hard to find, because the book goes back and forth between the past and the present. But she tells him something to the effect of, "It'll be nice to get this out of our system and just kind of like saying we could be friends with benefits. And that took Adam by surprise. He was not expecting June to answer in that way, and I don't blame him, because he was expecting something else. They're finally moving past their friendship boundary, and then he asks her, "What do you want, June?" And because of her insecurities, and because she thinks she's not worthy, she tells him she wants to be friends with benefits. And Adam does not want that. So then that evening, everything kind of just shifts, and they're no longer on the same page about things. So then after that, June starts seeing somebody that she met, and then Adam starts seeing Riley. They start avoiding each other, and that's just kind of where all the awkwardness starts, right? But what I really want to talk about is the way that June just leaves. I was so upset when the book tells us, or when we read that June tells Adam and her best friend that she's going to California to do some auditions, but she never tells them that she already has the intention of not coming back. She just ups and leaves for years. And Adam tries to reach out to her even after everything that was awkward and that happened between them. He tries to reach out to her via text, via calls, and she ignores these calls and these texts. And I just go crazy when I think of that, because they were best friends. They obviously care about each other, and she just gets up and leaves. Who does that? Who does that? Even her friend, while she was telling her all this, the friend was shocked. She was like, "You broke his heart, June. Like, why would you do that? Why would you leave us if you knew you were not going to come back? Why would you do that?" And I can't even comprehend or even fathom leaving my friends or loved ones abruptly like that. So I was really upset about that. I feel like she should have done things in a different way. You know, what are your thoughts? What do you think would have been the best way for her to go about that? I think she could have gone, done the auditions, come back, and had an adult conversation with Adam about the relationship and about how she was feeling. Like, she never really vocalizes what she's feeling to Adam about her insecurities, about how she feels like she's not good enough for him. But also, I don't think he did a good job of following up what he wants from June. He just they both kind of threw like a little stubborn tantrum of avoiding each other and not talking to each other. And really, as adults, there's better ways to communicate. So that part was not my favorite. I was really upset by that. But then, come to find out that Adam proposed to to Riley. And he never told June this. I mean, June left and broke his heart, so of course he's not going to tell her while she's blocked. But when she came back and they went into that new territory of being romantic with each other and and having a physical relationship, do you think Adam should have told June that he was at some point engaged to Riley? Because neither one of them really bring up exes. And then when they do, I feel like it's like a bomb just drops, because June was upset with Adam because Adam didn't tell her that he proposed marriage to Riley. And not only that, but Adam was not the one that broke off the engagement. It was Riley. Riley broke off the engagement because she knew that he was in love with June, because he went to California unbeknownst, is that how you say it? No, not unbeknownst. I can't think of the word or say the word properly, but June did not know that Adam went to California to look for her. Riley thought that he was going to go invite her in person to the wedding, but then we find out that Adam sees June with Liam doing a mundane activity of carrying groceries from the car into an apartment. And even though he flew from New York to California to talk to June, that simple action of them carrying groceries into the apartment deterred him from talking to June. Like, come on, dude, you flew all that way. How does that one thing stop you from talking to the girl that you're in love with? So I think he should have done better in that regard. But then he flies back. He flies back to New York and still does not break up with Riley. He is still with Riley. And he's acting crazy. He's not acting like himself. Even Riley tells June during this encounter, they bumped into each other at some Asian food place. I can't recall the name. But as they're talking about this, Riley goes, yeah, he was acting weirder than usual. And that's when it clicked for her that he was in love with June. So then she broke off the engagement. And then even after Riley breaks up with Adam still doesn't tell June that he went to go find her in California. He doesn't talk to June's best friend, which he was also friends with. I believe her name is Chloe, if I'm not mistaken. But there's just so many opportunities where he could have talked to her. She should have talked to him, and they didn't, and that part really frustrates me. I can't stand miscommunication, things like that. Especially when it's adults. If it's teens and kids in college and it's a romance story about college-age children or young adults, I get it. But as full-grown adults, there has to be better communication. And then when they finally talk about it, of course it gets heated, because June's like, why didn't you tell me? And then Adam goes, why did you leave? He said flat out, he said, why did you leave? And she still couldn't really vocalize why exactly she left. So then they just start bickering with each other. And then guess what happens after they have that argument? Of course you know, because you're here and you've read the book, but June leaves again for the second time. I believe it's a few days before they have to meet with Mara, which is the CPA of the owner of the brownstone. Is it Perry or Percy? I always forget if it's Perry or Percy. It's Perry. And then Adam doesn't show up to the meeting that they have to discuss what's going to happen to the property. Like, really? Like, that's so immature. It's just crazy to me that he just didn't show up to this very important meeting. Supposedly this brownstone is worth $6 million, and she's the only one that goes and signs the paperwork, and then the house is hers. But ultimately, at the end, they finally talk it out, and they're finally open and transparent with each other. And I'm just like, was it that hard? Was that hard to talk to each other? No, it should not have been hard. So, tell me what you thought. What parts frustrated you? What parts angered you to the point of wanting to throw the book across the room? Because I had my moments when I wanted to just chunk it. But overall, I did enjoy the story. Let me know what other books you've read that you find are similar to these, and if I should read them. And what other books do you have in mind to read for the month of April? Let me know. We'll talk to you soon. If you enjoy the vibes and you like these chats, pop in on Fridays, pop in on Wednesdays, and give me a like and a follow, and we'll be here. Take care. Have a great one.